Good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. It is March 3rd. Daniel Song here. Hey, right at the top of this call, if you are someone that is not aware of what I do as a direct seller, obviously this video probably won't be all that interesting for you, so you can probably save yourself some time and keep scrolling. If you are somebody who happened to be part of my former company, or you follow my career in the direct selling space, or if you are a new partner with us, maybe this might be of some interest. At the very least, I can say that it might be just fun entertainment for your Sunday afternoon. So anyways, I genuinely appreciate those that are tuning in right now or watching this on the replay, because you can't tell people that you were watching this video. But I digress. I am absolutely excited to announce that after a sort of a long process and a lot of complex and nuanced decisions, that I officially announced that I am partnering with a new direct sales company, a company called LifeVantage. Some of you guys may have seen the Easter eggs starting March 1st on my Facebook profile. Some of you guys obviously probably heard through the grapevine that this was happening. But I wanted to make it Facebook official, I guess, right? Like, it's not official until it's like really said. So yeah, I mean, whether you guys fully understand it or not, I've made a decision after serving my previous company for just under 13 years to part ways amicably and professionally, and partner with a new organization. And it's one that I'm genuinely excited about. Now, I know that's what most people will say when they enter into a new company. They need to say that they're excited and they're super whatever, but I just wanted to kind of break down why I chose to move forward. We're not going to be talking about why I chose to leave, because that's, I don't think, the productive, but I want to focus on looking forward, guys. Again, and if any of you guys obviously have concerns or whatever, you guys know how to get a hold of me. And if you don't know how to get a hold of me, then probably means that we probably didn't know each other well enough to have an issue about this, right? So look, what I wanted to say is this: I've been a part of this wonderful profession of direct selling for almost 21 years. It's something that I got involved in by accident right out of college. I graduated. I couldn't find a job that I had hoped for. I stumbled into this profession, and like most people, I was initially very skeptical and negative about it. And over the 21 years, I can tell you that there is a clear difference between a legitimate direct selling business versus probably a lot of the things that people look at what I do and judge and have sort of an opinion about it. But that being said, this partnership comes after, again, at least almost 65 days of investigating this company specifically, along with multiple other options. This is a part of a 20-month process of me just really studying and watching our profession. And let me give you just maybe like 5 reasons why. I can't go through everything, but let me give you just 5 reasons why I chose to partner with LifeVantage. Number one, it is publicly traded. Now, again, people are going to have their opinions about this. Okay, so again, just understand this is my perspective and my reasons why. You know, and I've been in, previous to LifeVantage, I've been in both public and private companies. Being on both sides of the fence, I can tell you what the pros and cons are. But in this case, in this sort of cycle of my business and my career, the reason why I chose to align with a publicly traded company is for a few reasons. Number one is obvious, which is transparency. Good or bad, you're going to be able to see exactly how the company is performing. Good or bad, you're going to be able to see the profits, the sales, the growth, the decline, whatever it is. Everything is visible. When a company claims that they're spending millions on development, you can see that. You don't just have to take their word for it. You can see how much people are getting paid. You can see how much commissions are being paid out. And not only can you see that record, but that creates a level of accountability, right? There's a level of accountability. There's a level of checks and balances, because albeit that publicly traded companies may have to make decisions a little bit slowly, and that's just the nature of the beast. They are going to have to make decisions. They're going to have to run it up through, obviously, everyone at the corporate team. Then it eventually has to go to the board. Then a decision is made about any pivot before it is ultimately approved and it's implemented. And the fact that it has to pass through the hands of so many people who have different perspectives, the perspective of the field, the perspective of corporate, the perspective of its shareholders, it means that an issue is looked at from multiple angles before a decision is made. So, I mean, you can't just get away with erratic, random choices and strategies that people have to align with, whether they understand it or not. Now, the concern immediately for me, by the way, when I started investigating these companies, and one of the ones when I find out they were publicly traded was, hey, doesn't that slow down the process? Doesn't the shareholders serving another group of people who are inversely interested in the field, doesn't that hurt the organization? I got to see the makeup of the current board at the company. The makeup of the current board is in alignment with what the corporation is trying to do. You can see it in the strategic investments they're making, the millions that they're spending into innovating the company. The board understands that in order for a company like LifeVantage to grow, the distributors need to be happy, they need to be thriving, they need to be motivated to grow, the incentives need to be there. Ultimately, at the end of the day, they understand, the current board, the current team, the current shareholders understand that the distributors are ultimately the ones that drive the sales, not the board. And so that clarity in terms of partnership and alignment means a lot. Now, that can't be said about necessarily all publicly traded companies, but in this specific case, that was the answer I needed between the transparency and the alignment and the motivation of where the sales truly is driven from. That's number one. The second reason why is it's an extension of that sort of idea. I was introduced to a concept when I sat down with the executive team of this concept called LV360. LV360 obviously talking about LifeVantage, but this idea that they were going to do a total innovation of the company. Now, it wasn't going to be erratic. It wasn't going to be fast, obviously. A lot of times when companies go out there and they have a strategy that works or something that worked before, and as things begin to slow down, which is natural, it's not, I think every company kind of goes through that. Companies begin to make decisions or adopt or adapt to improve or to grow on top of what they did. And it kind of feels like when you look at a home that has like random add-ons that weren't part of the original build, at some point those add-ons no longer serve to the overall flow of the home, right? Because now you can tell that it was just randomly added on here and there. And so LV360 to me was a concept to truly address the whole company and not just components like product, vision and compensation or incentive trips or little components. It's meant to address everything, and that included obviously product innovation, that included a massive update and an improvement to the comp plan, that included obviously massive investments into the technology side, the digital asset, and the member experience and the customer experience, right? So again, to me, going back, LV360, if that's really the investment of the company, to me, I see exciting new opportunities there. Not only that, it shows me that the company is willing to make those investments. The board is willing to align to these type of investments. And so I think that's really exciting to hear that message because, again, it's very easy for a company to go to $200+ million and get comfortable and transition from a growth and expansion strategy to a preservation and stability or stabilizing type of sort of strategy, if you will. And when you enter into a business, especially if you're a sales group or a sales organization, and you enter into a company that is in stability or preservation type of mode, it's going to be difficult for you to grow with that company because the investments and the decisions are not being made to help you grow, but actually to protect and preserve the company. So for me, entering into this company that is a little over 14 years old is because I see a very clear commitment to innovation and growth. The product categories, that's number 3. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm a scientist and I understand everything about products and formulations. There are people in my life, people who I've been partnered with for over a decade, over 15 years, that I trust for that stuff. And in my case, of course, someone in my corner has been Dr. Mike. And Dr. Mike was the crucial reason why I ended up aligning with the previous business that I was in. And in the same process that I went to when I made a decision 13 years ago to partner with that company, I went through the same process in this discovery process. I sent Dr. Mike samples from multiple companies, the top five or four leading companies and choices I was looking at. And it wasn't until Dr. Mike really evaluated the products from the standpoint of formulation, efficacy, impact, in terms of its overall categories. And then on top of that, it was him then sitting down at the highest level with the product development team to have a discussion privately about their philosophies around how they develop products, right? Because it's one thing to look at the current products they have, but it's another thing to understand how they research, how they focus, what they choose when they go through future product decisions. And so Mike got on a call like that, and it cemented his decision. His approval in that product process is what allowed me to then move forward into comp plan discussions, business strategy discussions, partnership discussions, and so on and so forth. So there are pre-qualifiers. This isn't some random willy-nilly decision that I decided to make. And again, like I said, for those that are, you know, deciding that they need to throw in their cryptic jabs that maybe I'm not intelligent, that I'm not smart, or I'm making a bad decision. Look, I just want you guys to understand there was a process. It wasn't simple. It wasn't an overnight process. And I hope that you guys understand the process that landed me in my previous business, which everybody thought was a great decision back then, is the same process I followed to now find this new home. And so the product categories currently right now between the world of anti-aging and of course outer beauty, it's obviously a huge market. I mean, when you look at social media, right? You look at TikTok and Instagram, for example, some of the most viral product content. Now, this is even outside the direct selling space. Some of the most viral content is obviously sports, nutrition, and fitness. We see a lot of exercise-related content being created. Content creators also love skincare and makeup. Cosmetics is a huge industry. Not every type of product lends itself very well to social media. It's hard to share it. It's hard to kind of try to connect with an audience across the screen. But skincare is one of those things. And so it's not the only thing that promoted this decision, but having products inside of specific categories that I know are very socially shareable, socially sellable, to me, that was a great thing. And then having obviously conversations with the internal team about future product categories that I'm pretty familiar with, categories that I've made some incredible runs in this industry with, that those are coming down the pipeline. So with the current product categories on top of what they're working on, that as a total picture for me, again, reinforces that I have something great to work with right now, but the future commitments that LifeVantage is making means that I have a brand new lane, a brand new opportunity that is irrelevant of the past of the company, and that gets me really excited. Like I said, as part of LV360's umbrella, the company made a massive change to its comp plan. You guys know, again, while I'm not the product guy, those of you guys that do follow my career, the one area that I do feel very comfortable in is understanding numbers and mechanics and bonuses and comp plan. In my previous company, I've done most of the comp plan training in that company. The tools that used to be created were all created by myself, which was company-wide used. Not only that, whenever a new comp plan change or a bonus change or some type of incentive was announced in my former company, I was always the one that was being asked to record the video assets. I was always the one being asked to speak about it at conference. That is the indicator that there was a level of understanding and competency and comprehensiveness when it comes to this category. And that same person that used to do that is also the same person looking at this new LV360, or what they call the Evolve Comp Plan. And that's why I made a decision. Now, there are whenever you hear people say things online that says, we have the best products. Now, again, you guys may know people in other direct selling companies. This isn't a comparative thing between A and B, but all direct selling companies. Every company is going to tell you they have the best products. Every company is going to tell you they have the best comp plan. Every company is going to tell you that their opportunity and their timing is the best. This video is really not very different either. Maybe other than the fact that I'm not going to say that LifeVantage has the best comp plan and it doesn't have the best products. Now, again, some of you guys are, whoa, why would you say that about the new company that you're in? I'm going to say that they have a very relevant product category. They have a very relevant comp plan. Let me explain what that means. people are out there, and typically in our space, the direct selling space, comp plans can be very top heavy, meaning the people at the top, the people that have the biggest organizations are going to make the biggest money. Traditionally, again, maybe the top 5% are going to share in 80% of the revenue, and then the bottom 95% have to share with 20% of the revenue, something along those lines. Those are just arbitrary numbers, but it kind of gives you the idea that the pie is cut up very unfairly. In my previous decade of experience, I've had a lot of wonderful teammates and partners who are incredibly good at sales and acquisition. They were great at getting customers, whether it be because of their background as a trainer, as a fitness enthusiast, as a health advocate, or just a great momtrepreneur. There's incredible customer drivers that were in my previous organization. Most of them at some point begin to disengage with the business because the incentives to stay are not quite there. Free products, credits, those things temporarily create excitement, but it's hard for someone to justify continuing to put hours into growing their customer base if the incentives are really not there. It's, again, comp plan is nothing more than a behavior and an incentive to promote that behavior. And so for me, studying the comp plan, it wasn't about looking at the top end and saying, what can I make? Is there a path to that 7-figure earning? And yes, there is. I mean, obviously the company was able to share very clearly the people that were making that massive, typical network marketer top end money. But the most important thing that I was looking at when I was looking at compensation plans, specifically this LV360 or Evolve plan, was how does it pay the people who are driving customers at the bottom of the organization? Because that's where it's most relevant. Remember, I told you, not the best comp plan, the most relevant comp plan. See, our industry has gone through a lot of phases, if you will. In the early 90s and the early 2000s, I think we went through a phase of our industry. But one thing is for sure, a lot of the comp plans that we might be familiar with were designed before the gig economy ever emerged. I can tell you right now, when I joined my previous company 12 plus years ago, there was no Uber, there was no Lyft, there was no Instacart, there was no, I don't know what else out there. There's a ton of side gig opportunities now. That has created a brand new marketplace where people can go and get involved and do what we call transactional sales or transactional work. And basically they make a drive, they get paid. They make 2 drives, they get paid twice. That's simplified, obviously, but you get the idea. There isn't a whole lot involved there. You don't have to attend massive meetings. You don't need to go to conferences. You don't need to go through years of sales training and motivational training to become an Uber driver. You just need to know how to drive, complete that drive, and you get paid. And it becomes a predictable way for someone to earn a side income, whether you're trying to make grocery money or pay rent or whatever it is. Again, it's a very predictable, scalable way through a transactional business to make an income. So knowing that the affiliate space did not exist 15 plus years ago, knowing that the influencer and micro influencer markets did not exist 15 years ago. Man, I remember Instagram was just getting started when I joined my company 15 years ago, or 12 plus years ago. TikTok wasn't even a thing back then. Facebook Live was not even a thing back then. Social selling was not even a thing back then. So you got to imagine a comp plan that was written 15 years ago is not going to address the relevance of today's marketplace. You know, when you're paying people acquisition bonuses that are not competitive, people aren't going to go out there and acquire customers. I love the fact that this plan was designed to keep in mind the customer driver, the affiliate, the influencer, all the way to the top networker. That's why I chose this plan. Not because it's the best. You're never going to see me on social media touting how it's the best thing, it's the newest thing, it's the greatest thing. Look, that's hype and that's a pitch. One thing I will talk about is how relevant is it to us now? Does it make sense? Is it future-proof for at least the next decade plus? And I think that's where a lot of people make the mistakes, because when they choose to align with an opportunity, when they choose to align with the company, I think they get seduced by all the really nice pitches, right? The best of this, the best of that. And again, I love it when I see colleagues out there saying, we have the best products, we have the best this. And I'm like, I guarantee you, if I walk through the doors of any direct selling company right now, if I go visit any company out there, they're going to all tell me the same thing. They're going to tell me why they're the best. The difference is to ask yourself, how relevant is it to our marketplace? Like, is it relevant? Is it happening now? So that's why I chose, that's another reason. The last reason why I chose this is compatibility, right? To me, it wasn't about, I can make a career shift. I've had opportunities over the last year and a half to get involved in a lot of things outside the direct selling space. Investments into owning businesses. I actually was offered an opportunity to buy out a car business. I had an opportunity to invest into a car sales business, mostly cars because that's kind of what I do. But nonetheless, there was a lot of opportunities to explore businesses outside of the direct selling space, and perhaps maybe I still will at a later time. But for me, I had other leaders that are still involved in my previous company that are choosing to do other opportunities, meaning they're promoting 2 or multiple opportunities. And they're quite different. And in some ways, that's good because the previous company doesn't find it to be a conflict of interest. They say, hey, well, company A is selling and promoting this. Company B is promoting and selling something completely different. And because there is not a conflict of interest, they're allowed to do both, which is fair. I have no problem with that. But because the environment is so different, in the same way they are able to justify doing both, that's also what prevents people from feeling comfortable to maybe all jump in and lock arms and become and participate in something. To me, I was looking for a company that are open in the same markets, if not more, right? I'm excited that LifeVantage is currently open in about 20 markets, including the markets that I was in. So it allows me to work with the organizations that I work with personally. And that's exciting. That's compatible. Being able to take, again, this is more of an industry terminology, but to be able to take a binary plan and to transition it into what is essentially a unilevel plan, but to be able to do that without this massive pivot, the fact that we can build it like a binary and still get it to a 6-figure plus income before you get acquainted and you build a posture and you understand the full strategies to then unlock, obviously, more parts of the comp plan. But the great part is it's compatible. It's a compatible transition from binary into a unilevel without a lot of retooling necessary. I know there are people out there that initially see the word unilevel and they're like, why unilevel? And again, it's clearly because they haven't studied the comp plan. They don't understand it the way I understand it. They don't see the compatibility. I've always been, and those that have followed my journey for over 2+ decades in this industry, I've always remained in the lane of nutraceuticals and wellness. Let me explain why. I got accidentally started in health and wellness. Accidentally, albeit that I did not choose that 20 years ago. It just happened to be the company that I got involved in. But one of the things that I picked up on over the last 2 decades is I earn a commission check based on selling and sharing and promoting a product that is designed to improve someone's quality of life. Now, some of you guys can be cynical and say, well, do they work? Do they not work? That's not the debate on this call. The debate right now, or the only point that I want to stress is what I do is to try to impact someone's health in a meaningful way at some level, whether it be joint pain, cholesterol, blood pressure issues, other illnesses, physical pain, weight loss, skin disorders, whatever it is. You can imagine in 20 years the incredible testimonies and personal stories I've seen and experienced through my professions of building thousands and millions of customers across 2 decades. You get to hear some pretty powerful stories. And I can tell you without an ounce of a doubt, those stories are far more satisfying and significant than simply the commission check that's generated from that. But I will say this, in the land of opportunity where you have so many different ways to make money, right? You can do real estate, you can do stocks, you can do cryptocurrency, you can do sell cars, right? There are tons of ways to make money. The reason why I get so drawn to the wellness industry is because I have a profession where by improving someone's quality of life in a way that's real for them, it may not be real for you, but it's real for them. By doing that, I get a small commission check indirectly for going out there and improving someone's life. So the compounded effect is the more lives that you help improve and transform, the bigger your checks will be. And that small little piece is a huge reason why I continue to align with myself in the wellness space. And that's a compatibility issue. LifeVantage is also in the mission of improving people's lives, also in the mission of transforming lives. That is all part of the reason why I chose this versus pivoting away and maybe going into a financial service industry, maybe an insurance industry, maybe a device-based industry, maybe a telecom industry, maybe merchant service industries, maybe a targeted skincare industry. Nothing wrong with those things. It's just what I felt was not compatible to what I wanted to do, where I felt like I can make an impact. And those were the reasons why I chose it. And so again, going through it, I like the transparency of a publicly traded company. It's something that I personally need. I think it's something that a lot of the distributors that are aligning with me find that to be an important characteristic. Good or bad, everything is going to be seen. There's nothing that we can hide. There's not lip service. There's not some sort of, hey, things are great, but you can't really validate that, right? Good or bad, you're going to be able to see that. LV360, again, once again, if a publicly traded company did not see the value in the field, they would not make the investments into LV360 to spend the millions to improve the comp plan, spend the money to develop incredible, aggressive products in new categories. The total address to the total company for innovation is exciting, means there's an opportunity for me to grow with the company. The new product categories and existing product categories are very relevant. It's hot, it's socially sellable, it's things that people are looking for right now. The comp plan, like I said, is relevant to drivers, right? Customer drivers, influencers, affiliates, part-time gig economy, people, and the networker, right? I like the fact that it can address and creates lanes that are available for those people, and ultimately the compatibility issue, right? Look, all that being said, it's a long-winded answer to just simply say I've made a decision that was not simple to make, a decision that was very hard. I know there are a lot of people, and I've been through this process before. It's not something that I'm proud of, the fact that I've been a part of, let's say, LifeVantage will be my 4th major organization that I'm a part of. It's not a stat that I'm necessarily proud of. I am proud of the fact that I do feel like every decision and pivot in my career has been one where the decision was sort of made for me, meaning there were certain challenges or issues or circumstances that sort of forced me into this looking phase and transition phase. I am comfortable and confident in knowing that. I am, between me and God, I know I've explored every pathway, every opportunity to make this not the reality. Trust me, this wasn't my first go-to knee-jerk reaction. This isn't me throwing a tantrum and saying, well, I'm gonna do this because I need to show somebody what's up, right? It's not that. I know it's a very complex decision. I know that this decision means some beautiful and amazing people that used to be my friends will no longer see me as a friend. I'm a human being. I'm confident as a business builder and as an entrepreneur. I am absolutely excited and confident in where I'm going. I know there are people that are taking like cryptic jabs about my intelligence. They undermine my decision-making skills. They undermine my ability to understand numbers and data and comp plan, and people are selectively using cherry-picked data to try to smear a negative image about what I'm doing. I get it. I mean, I guess my wishful thought is that people would respect and support my decision to move forward, but I get it. I've been here before, guys. And the reality is that I built in a company for over a decade. That means I built friendships and I built influence through merit. I don't think it was for free. I think I built the influence through merit and proving that I knew what I was talking about, proving that I was a top business builder in the previous business. And now anybody who wants to, not see me do well in this new organization is going to do everything in their power to discredit and to smear that influence. They need to sever that influence now. When it's a financial interest, you want to give people the influence. When it's financially not aligned to you, you want to destroy that influence. And so I get it. It's a normal part of the process, and I was prepared for it. But as much as you're prepared for it, when you see friends attack you, people that used to send you Christmas cards and people who used to give you hugs and high fives and talk about how they were encouraged by the things you did and the information they brought to the company, then pivot and start to say the opposite, it is unfortunate. It hurts. And I know that there's plenty of my old former company colleagues that are sitting on the fence because they are just choosing to stay out of the discussion, and that's fine. I respect that. But yeah, like I said, there are obviously few that want to say stuff. And I want to be so honorable to the previous company. I am doing my darned best to keep things professional and not talk about the past. I just want to focus on the future. Um, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard because one, I'm a human being, and it's also hard because some of the things you guys post, you probably don't want me to rebuttal it because it's probably going to destroy your argument in a second. So again, to my former friends who are feeling the need to say things about me on social media or about the decision I've made, I just kindly ask that maybe we just be supportive. I get it. You're trying to protect and preserve your paycheck. I get it. I know where the intention's coming from. But know that, again, I didn't do this to hurt people. I didn't make this decision to upset you. It's not personal. It's a decision I've made for my family. It's a decision I've made for the teams. It's a decision I've made to not protect and preserve my check, but to protect and preserve the people who trust me, to serve them in a clear and transparent way. And it's something that we all have different opinions on. But I understand that that's my choice. And again, I hope that the same brain, the same person, the same leader that used to serve this company for 13 years is the same person that's leading this company somewhere else, right? I wish my previous company all the very best. I do. I sincerely do. I hope nothing more than to regret the decision to leave, because perhaps I exited the company maybe in its lowest time, and maybe the company pivots and it does some incredible things, and I'll look back and say, gosh, man, had I known, right? Speaking of cryptocurrency, we all know that there are people that will sell off their Bitcoin when it's super low and not realize it's going to turn around and fly right back to the top, and then you start regretting ever selling your Bitcoin. By the way, that was me. And then also, you, on the flip side, you have certain things where you make a decision and it seems challenging, it seems questionable, it seems like it doesn't make sense. And then in hindsight, it was like, wow, how did they know, right? And I think for those that followed my journey here with my previous company, you guys know for the past 20 months, I've been not vocal on social media, but with the leadership team, I've been very, very vocal about concerns. Concerns that 20 months ago sounded like I was a hater and just some weird guy, and I was crazy. And then later, I think, look, history shows that I wasn't wrong. And so again, I just ask that you guys respect that there might be a perspective that I see that maybe you don't want to see right now. And that's fine. I honor your perspective. I honor your opinion. I hope you can do the same for me. And I hope that you can show our industry that if you're claiming BLP, this unconditional purpose of belonging, loving, and purpose, that doesn't stop. And that's all I ask. I just ask that you show people that it wasn't fake. You know what I mean? And this has nothing to do with the company. This has everything to do with the field leaders. I don't hold the field accountable. I don't hold the company accountable. I do hold my highest level of leadership team accountable because you guys know. All that being said, the last thing I'll say is this. The reason why I'm excited is because a whole new door to possibilities have been opened up to me and my organization. I call it possibilities, new pathways to possibilities. We have distributors, for example, that have followed me into this company who are now promoting LifeVantage. I got a phone call from a young lady just 48 hours ago who said, hey, I have 2 people that signed up in the United Kingdom, right? And I don't know what those 2 people are going to do. I don't know what those consultants are going to do. Are they going to build a massive customer team in the millions? Are they going to just get 1 or 2 partners and fizzle out? I don't know that. But the point is, it's a possibility and a pathway that did not exist in my previous business. One of my top leaders, their spouse, it has well connected in the Japanese American community and has been unable to do anything with that other than to build the Japanese American community here in the United States. But so many have family back home and they don't have the ability to do anything with that. They just got on the call with the president of LifeVantage in Japan and got all the support materials, the resources, and the physical support, saying, hey, we'll help. We want to help grow you. So the pathway to possibilities, can that leader then build just 1 consultant and customer into Japan? 2, 10, 15, maybe 100, maybe 1,000, maybe become the next top 10 income earner in LifeVantage through Japan? Possibly. I don't know. We don't know, but that possibility exists. It didn't exist in the previous business. I have another leader who has half her family that lives in Australia and New Zealand. That pathway, that possibility didn't exist. Now they can build their friends and family in Australia and New Zealand. That pathway, that possibility exists. The fact that I have, I see Anthony commenting. Anthony is actually one of those, Anthony's a great guy. I don't mean to just select on him, but Anthony has been with me on this journey for almost 2 decades. This is a kid that I met at 17 years old, has done some incredible things. One of the things that Anthony does is he's got one of the hardest work ethics I know. He's a hustler. This guy will work. This guy works harder than almost anybody I know. Anthony is a customer driver. His primary business at one point was he was a Spartan coach, a physical trainer, and so he had tons of clients that were about fitness and performance, and so he would drive tons and tons and tons and tons of customers. When I say tons, I mean tons. Him and his mom won car contests. I mean, both his distributorship and his mom's distributorship both ended up at the top of the company because they can get so many customers. Like, I cannot stress to you how crazy these guys are at getting customers. But ultimately, there wasn't a real pathway for him to make a competitive income. Even though I wanted him to grow, even though I wanted him to stay engaged, ultimately he chose to fizzle out and start to pursue other things because he didn't see a pathway to what he considered a reasonable, legitimate earnings for the value he brought the company as a customer getter. I'm seeing stories, not just through the grapevine, but through real information. Again, when I say real information, just trust me. I've seen it. I've looked at it. There are people in this company that have teams of 4, 5, 6 distributors. That's it, 6 consultants that are making a 5-figure income. I don't want to say the actual number because at some point it becomes unbelievable. And at some point someone's going to say, well, this is an income claim. So I don't want to do that. But just put on that filter and ask yourself right now, is there a pathway in our business where I can maybe have a team of 4 or 5 partners, but really a big customer-driven business, a massive customer-driven business? And is there a pathway to earn 5 figures in my business? And that possibility didn't exist. And so for me, it's not about the negativity. I'm not choosing to leave because this company's bad or this was bad or this is bad. I'm not choosing to focus on that. I am not. I can easily do that. Please understand, I can easily do a whole video about all the reasons why not to, right? I'm talking about all the reasons to do because of brand new possibilities. And I think that is the best way to move on and honor the previous business I've been in for what it's worth. I am incredibly grateful to the founders of my previous business, incredibly grateful to my sponsor and dear friend Eugene Hong. I know he's in a very challenging predicament because I just respect and honor him. I have so many friends. Obviously, this call would go way too long to thank all the friends that I've made in that previous 13 years. And my only hope and prayer is while my residual income from that business is going to come to a close, I hope the residual friendships can remain. Maybe it's wishful. Maybe it's asking for too much. I understand why my residual income has to stop. But I hope if I've shared any value, at some point we've broke bread together, if we have great memories together, if at some point there were good memories and good experiences, and up until this point of me departing from the company, if we had nothing but good experiences, then I ask you, look at the 99%, not the 1%. You may not agree with my decision to leave, but I think you can honor the fact that I was good at some point. And while the residual income ends, I am hoping the residual friendships can continue. So for all the people that privately message me, all the people who've text messaged me saying that, hey, I don't understand why you're leaving. I'm sad to see you go, but I hope we stay friends. Dude, that means the world, because trust me, there are people that I've served way more. There are leadership teams that I've done so much more for that don't have the courage to do that. So just know that I appreciate you. Just know that I have my reasons why I'm leaving, and I'd like to try to keep those reasons private to just my group. And And I just hope for those that are feeling like the need to take cryptic shots at my character or at the company I'm choosing, one, be intelligent. Don't use selective data. Don't cherry pick the data. Let's have an honest conversation. If you have a problem, if the stock performance is the reason why you have a problem with my decision, pick up a phone call. Give me a call. Let's talk about it, right? If the product is a problem, pick up a phone call. Call me. Let's talk about it, right? Yeah, let's do that, right? But if you're going to go on social media and take shots at me as a character to undermine my decision, I challenge you to look up and Google the ad hominem fallacy. The ad hominem fallacy. The ad hominem fallacy basically says when there's an intelligent debate or discussion being had or a discourse being had, because you can't actually answer the questions and concerns I'm addressing, instead of answering the question, you attack the character and the person because it's the only thing you got. So just Google it and let's have an intelligent discussion, not character attacks, because I don't know what that does other than say that you don't have a real reason to attack my decision itself. So the best you got is to attack me. So anyways, I love you guys. Thank you for all the kind messages. And I'm looking forward to doing some exciting things. Whether I fly, whether I crash, it's a decision I'm going to have to live with. But I am also incredibly grateful to all the people that have said yes to coming on this journey with me, because I know it's unfair to them. I know that when people are taking shots at me, it also scares them. I know that they're wanting to see change and possibilities. And I want that for them. So I'm just doing what I believe is the best to protect and preserve my organization, not protect and preserve my checks. That's it. Anyways, thank you guys. Love you guys. And again, for what it's worth, to all of my previous Yoli family members, even the ones that are upset with me, I absolutely love you guys. And I want the best for you guys. And I want to thank you guys so much. So anyways, I'll focus on the good memories and the good times, guys. Take care. Bye.